Welcome to the Filipino American Woman Project, a podcast that strengthens Filipino voices one conversation at a time through all things life, culture, and personal development. We're your hosts, Jen Amos and Nani Dominguez-Smith, and this episode is brought to you by our family on thenewfilipina.com. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's conversation.
Okay, hello everyone. Happy holidays, season's greetings. How's it going?
It is going. How about you?
It's great. I can't complain. You know, it's our birthday month for one.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot.
So happy holidays and happy birthday to both of us. It's been really cool to have shared or celebrated our birthday with our community for like the last 5 years. Which is still mind-blowing, by the way, if you really think about it. But yes, hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We hope that you all enjoyed episode 162 with Caitilin and Nani. I finally had a chance to listen to that recording till the very end. And I have to say that it was very touching to hear one of the poems that Caitlin's dad had written and how and why she specifically titled her, and you can help me articulate this, her event. So thank you, Caitilin, for sharing your thesis with us. And we actually have some really exciting news to share for all of you in today's episode. But Nani, any lingering thoughts since you were boots on the ground, witnessing her, one, actually pursuing this, and then two, being there for her live event?
Yeah, well, if you guys listen to the episode, then you already know kind of the labor of love that this was for her. She started her master's program 6 or 7 years ago. And then right after she started, the first semester, she got pregnant. So she had to, take some time off. And it was a lot of work for her to get back to it and to actually, see it through completion. So this was a huge, huge feat for her. And I like that you brought up the impact of listening to her dad's poem or her read her dad's poem. I think that if you actually read her dad's work, it explains, it helps you know her so much more, her natural, storytelling abilities and the way she just, even in casual conversations throughout our whole lives, she just is constantly narrating things as if she's telling a story. And it's so entertaining, to be around. But now I'm oh, I get where that comes from, because you're who does that, but that's just how she literally thinks like that. And she literally just talks like that. And so I think for me, because I had never seen her dad's work before, and I knew her dad when he was alive, but I never really spent any significant amount of time with him. I don't think I've ever had an actual conversation with him, just hi and bye, before he passed away in 2013. So it felt really special for me as her best friend of over 15 years to kind of know a different side of her and in a way, inadvertently connect with him, which is why I also consider this intergenerational family healing or family therapy. And it's just so beautiful because the impact of his work, is taking place long after he's passed. Like I said, he passed over 10 years ago. So I just think it's really cool for her to have, in our last episode 162, she talks about the origin story of her thesis project and how she was studying the humanities, which didn't really have anything to do with her dad's project or her dad's work at first. And then, she describes this conflict that came up in one of her classes that sparked her to want to center his work in her thesis project. And now that she has graduated and she, has that notch under her belt, she's decided to actually go for her PhD in ethnic studies. So it's kind of just it started this ball rolling of a bunch of, tree branch effects. And her dad's poetry is also now being taught at San Francisco University by the professor whose class she did this thesis project for. So yeah, it's just, there's a lot that's maybe hard to translate to someone that doesn't know her.
You know, one of my favorite things in her interview, when you interviewed her, was when she said, you know, I could either be upset about this or I can thug it out and be the change that I want to see. And because you guys will get more context when you listen to, again, episode
162.
Yeah. Thank you. Episode 162. And just talking about, like you said, she really didn't go into school with the intent of coming out of it, like, you know, talking about her dad's poems. It just like the circumstances had led her there, you know, and I just love it. And I hope that you all had a chance to listen to it, episode 162. And now we are excited to share that as of today, we have the replay of her live event. And this was Nani's first time, I think, hosting, like being a facilitator at a live event. And by the way, I thought you did great. I watched it. I watched the full video.
Thank you. Because at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I need Jen. I've never done anything like this without Jen.
Well, you did great. And
there's like real people. Like, it was so anxiety inducing. But thank you.
Yeah, for all you listeners, it's so different hosting online, like in a podcast versus in a real live event where people are watching you. It's so different. So I think, like, for Nani and I, it's like we're hanging out virtually in our own living rooms, and we have the comfort of, you know, talking to each other, and you all just so happen to listen in. But it's a completely different experience when we have to be in front of people. So
yeah, without each other at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it looked like it, I mean, at least with, you know, from the camera angle, it looked like it was a well put together event. And we're excited to share that Caitilin has shared the video replay with us. And we are providing it to you all today, right in our community in thenewfilipina.com. So if you join us in our free space, you will have access to that full replay today, right now. Just visit thenewfilipina.com. And it's our way of, you know, saying thank you for supporting us. And we hope that you can learn more about what Caitilin is doing. And I do believe she plans on touring with her thesis. Is that correct?
Yeah, the goal is to definitely have this be a traveling exhibit. But I think that this launch event was just so much work that, you know, we're creeping slowly into the next one instead of going, you know, full force. But yeah, the launch event was really fun. It was at this venue called Kinfolks in Oakland, which is a very popular like coffee shop. People co-work there during the day. And then at night, it's like an event space. So it turns into like a cocktail bar. We had a DJ who we went to high school with, actually, which was super cool. We had a professor from San Francisco State University, one of her former professors, actually do the conversation with us. So that was really nice to have, again, an intergenerational perspective on these topics. He's been a professor, you know, since like for decades. So he's experienced a lot of the history of student activism that San Francisco State is known for. So yeah, it was nice to have that perspective. We had all our friends there. We had Malaya Movement there, which is a Filipino American community organizing, like a grassroots organization. So they sponsored the event. We had a poet recite some poetry before our conversation. It was a vibe.
It looked like a vibe. It looked like an event I would have put a lot of thought in dressing up for, since I normally don't go out, but it seemed like one of those fun events. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like make an effort on my looks today and wash my hair and put on makeup and you know, like hang out and network and all the things. But it looked great, and we're excited to share that with all of you now here in thenewfilipina.com. And you know, if you all are interested in communicating with Caitilin directly, we'll be sure to invite her to the platform as well and answer any questions. So once again, you are welcome to access that now in thenewfilipina.com. But before then, let's go ahead and play a quick audio clip to share a piece of what you'll be expecting when you join us on thenewfilipina.com. So here it is.
And also, I obviously want to thank, my two participants here in this conversation, Francis and Nani, and she was being very professional with her introduction, but what she didn't say is that we're best friends. So we've been best friends since high school, and I have participated on her podcast, the Filipino American Woman Project, several times, and it just felt fitting that she would come here and just help me facilitate this conversation this evening. And it's based and would be that, thank you for the prompt and to ask about this event and this exhibit, which, yes, it was based off of my master's thesis at San Francisco State University. So I was in the humanities program. And for those of you that don't know, my best friends know this because it took me forever, but I was a super senior and then some. So it took me a very, very long time for me to graduate. I finished off my program work by 2020 and then I did graduate. And so this year, 2024. So also a side note, it's never too late. Don't give up on your dreams. But yeah, so it took me so long because I really struggled with, what exactly I wanted to say, what I really wanted my lasting impression to be in school and at school where, which matters to me so much. I love school. I love learning. And, I really wanted to be intentional about what I was going to say. And I realized in my own learning and in my own schooling and in my own experiences, I knew so close about myself and about my own failing history. And I was like, okay, I've been going to school for X amount of years now. I'm turning 32, 33, and, I still don't know that much about my Filipino American identity, my Asian American identity. And if I see this gap in my education, I cannot be the only one feeling this. So, where do I start? And luckily for me, my Bollywood poet, this poetry is back here on display. If you get a chance to see it, please take a look after the conversation. But yeah, he was a poet, and he spoke a lot about his experiences growing up. And they weren't intentionally about, he did say ever, this was my experience as a Filipino American. This was pertaining to me being Filipino American. But he spoke on his experiences, and because he was Filipino American, those experiences, embodied exactly what was going on at the time. And we're talking about my father was born in 1954. So talk about 50s to about year 2000 is when he stopped writing. So this project is the illustration. Honestly, all of those experiences that weren't just pertaining to our own family, to his experiences, it was about Filipino Americans specifically in Northern California and in America.
In that context, I want to, just before we go, weave in your dad's story a little bit, because we're talking about the history of activism, specifically student organizing, the history of oppression and othering for Asian communities, and you using your dad's poetry for your thesis project is you really understanding his experience from a completely different POV. So what have you learned about your dad and his experience that he didn't share directly with you through working through your thesis project?
It's so funny that you asked me that because, of course, I was working on this up until the last minute. So last night I was on CapCut, coding videos, to go the QR code. So please take advantage of the QR codes because I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning working on it. So go back there and check it out. What's us about those QR? Okay, yeah, because so that I'm going through all of this archival footage, looking at these photos, looking at these videos, and reading a lot of his draft pieces, looking at his old notebooks that are literally from dated 1985, March 1st. And this whole experience has really honestly created a new relationship with my father, which is a beautiful thing because for those of you who don't know, my father passed. So we passed in 2013. And so part of me doing this research was for me to feel, a sense of closeness in him, not just as his daughter, but to feel closeness in my community or my family being Filipino American. But, what I originally thought was going to be so personal and, such just a personal experience, it ended up, really helping me put a lot of things to bed and putting, really having peace with both his passing and, my relationship with him. See that, yes, my physical father is not here in this world with me anymore, but this person made this impact and he's left so much to share. And I feel like I've met a brand new person, just looking at these pictures, reading these readings. I feel like I know so much more about this person who I personally, we've been mentioning about silence. He didn't share a story with me. We didn't have these conversations. He never specifically said, I'm Filipino American, you're Filipino American, this is what that means, He was really just documenting that journey by himself in his journals and in his poetry. So for me to look at these pictures, look at these videos, put it together, with this writer, I'm really, identifying and seeing for him now that he was a Filipino American poet. That exists. Like, as Kirsten, showed us in evidence tonight, like there are Filipino American artists out here in the world doing their thing. And they've been doing that. He was putting out poetry since the 70s, had a really hard time getting published, at the time. And to come to find out, I saw he had developed a manuscript called Migrant Farm Work, or Poems About Migrant Farm Work. And at the time, in the 70s and the 80s, no one wanted to hear that from a Filipino American specifically. But now, that's being taught and that history is being appreciated because people are letting go of that history, because we're talking about it and keeping it alive. So I feel just really at peace. And that's why I'm so thankful for this night, thankful for this evening. Like, I feel like this was all very fateful, and, it all really came to like a nice, clean conclusion. And I'm just like so happy that, what started off as like, honestly, a very painful experience, was an experience about loss. And I gained so much from it. I gained this new relationship, this new person. I have all these writings. I have all of you guys here tonight, celebrating this and having this conversation. So I feel very just like good and evolved, and we're ready for the next step.
Cool. That was exciting. All right. Well, Nani, this is our last episode to wrap up the new year. I figured we could take some time to let people know how to stay in touch with us in the winter season. One thing I forgot that I thought I'd mention is, I think it's safe to say that a lot of us have mixed feelings about being with family in the holiday season. And so if you are struggling during this time, one, we see you, we hear you, we feel for you. One thing that Nani and I talked about offline is throughout the years, I didn't know that I had this, but I really struggled with seasonal depression for many, many years. I feel like I've been on top of it. In fact, so far, I think I'm okay. And I appreciate you bringing that up one time, Nani, in our audio messages of like, oh, maybe that's what I'm feeling right now, And so we recognize that this could be a hard season for some of you. And that is why, we encourage you that if you're, feeling a certain way, or if you want to feel heard and supported, just know that thenewfilipina.com is here for you. You're welcome to join our community and be part of the conversation, like share with us how you're feeling, what you're experiencing this year, and just to get some good content from us, in the off season. Well, I wouldn't say our show is off season, but I should probably describe it more as the winter season.
We're just taking a holiday break.
Yeah. We're taking a holiday break. So we'd love to have you on our platform. Again, it's free and you can hop off anytime you want, but we'd love to have you there. And also, even if you just go on a little bit to watch Caitlin's replay of her live event, then, there you go. There you have it. But also in the meantime,
there for you. There's a bunch of other content on there, and people, more importantly, who you can engage with directly if, the family that you are obligated to spend the holidays with are not the the people you would choose to be spending your time with. There's always us right there in your back pocket.
Yes, that's exactly what Nani said. Yes, exactly. We will be in your back pocket. So at any moment, if you're in a family party and you're like, I need a vent.
Yes.
That's what thenewfilipina.com is for.
Yes, exactly. Please use us as your venting space.
Yes, we will be there. So also toward the end of the year, we have some final events to wrap up 2024. So next Friday on December 20th will be our last book club of the year. If you join us on thenewfilipina.com, you can attend. And it's your first time being part of our book club, we're happy to have you for free for your first time. Love having that group. Someone had described to me once that it's a book club, but it's like a social club, because yes, we come with our books and yes, we talk about our books, but we also, it's like, again, hanging out in that living room and talking more than just books, but maybe things that are going on in our lives. Like, it's just a way, it's just like a fun sisterhood of books and just like whatever conversations come from those books. And, our style of book club is that you share the book that you're currently reading. We don't have a assigned reading for you. It's just, what are you reading right now? And even if you don't have anything to read, but you've been binge watching stuff, like for me right now, thanks to Shoutout to Hannah, I've been totally into the Hunger Games again. Like, it's like come back to life for me. So talk more about that in book club. But yeah, we would love to have you there. Even just, again, if you're looking for a place for community and sisterhood, we'd love to have you be part of our book club. Any thoughts on that, Nani, about our book club?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about every time I have a couple of hours to myself where I can watch like something that's not a cartoon. I always spend the entire time like looking for something to watch. And I love what I love about our book club. Like you said, it's more of an open format. So this year we switched things up a little, and instead of everyone agreeing and reading the same book, we all read whatever we want to read, and we just report out in our book club sessions, which have become more of like these living room chats, like you said, because also we've opened up the format to include other forms of media as well. So if you're not a reader, but you're an avid TV show watcher or movie watcher or moviegoer, or whatever you call it, or you listen to or watch other forms of media, podcasts, whatever is intellectually stimulating for you, you can share. And I love that we have this like running list. I started a post in the newfilipina.com in our book club space for our book club members to just consolidate all of the books and TV shows and recommendations into one place, so that when you do sit down, you're like, what should I read? What should I watch? You can just go into the newfilipina.com and choose.
I have to say, it's thanks to our book club that I finally got a public library card. And
yes, you've been talking about this for like over a year.
Yeah.
It finally happened in 2024.
And I have been reading a ton of books. It's been awesome. So yeah, like now when we're in our book club, I actively have my library account open so I can add the books to my wish list of things I may want to read. And it's cool because, you know, even beyond in between book club sessions, I continue to think about you guys based on the books that I choose to read and all that. So yeah, it's a really good, it's been really fun. It's been very intellectually stimulating, and also just an opportunity to bond with all of you over, you know, I think, you know, part of why I like the book club so much is, you know, for people who maybe like in the past had not been ready to tell their story, I feel like books are a good crutch in doing that. You know, you get to talk about the books that you chose and share like why you chose it. And I feel like it gives us like a subtle way into learning more about you and your story.
Yes.
And sometimes people need that, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I feel like we have created such deep bonds with the people in our book club for that reason. And I think I've brought that up several times. Like, I think it's most interesting. I'm interested to know what you're all learning from the books that you're reading or the shows that you're watching. But what I find more interesting is to notice the patterns in like the types of books that you like the genres. You know, we have one book club member who's really into like comics, and she's put us on to like the most amazing Filipino comics and storylines and a series of books that I never even knew existed. So, you know, then we have other people that are more into like history-based stuff and are always, you know, we learn so much about things that we might not under normal circumstances pick up ourselves or think to even be curious about. So I just really love learning about our TFAW fam in that really intimate way.
Yes, I agree. So yes, if we haven't stressed that enough, we'd love to have you for our final book club of the year. That's December 20th. That's next Friday. And then also, we don't have a set date on this just yet. The tentative date for this will be December 23rd, so Christmas Eve. But we are bringing back our annual vision board workshop. We first kicked this off with our collaboration with Dr. Abby. And since then, it's taken a life of its own. So it's been a ton of fun, like just coming together and talking about what is a vision board if you haven't done it before. Like, I remember when I first started, I was all like, I don't know, I don't want to put it, like, I didn't like the hassle of it.
You were resistant to the idea.
Yes. I was resistant because I didn't like the idea of putting something down and feeling obligated to committing to it. And then I learned that it's okay to just put things down casually and just like tweak it every now and then. I didn't have to like, you know, put things down like I was cementing it and saying, okay, this is what I have to do for the new year. So I learned to, you know, like be a little mellow and easygoing and give myself some grace in putting together a vision board. And now I do it every year, you know, and it's been great. So we hope that you all will be interested in joining us. Again, this is also open to the community. It'll likely take place either before Christmas, because I think the following week is like New Year's Eve. And I was like, I don't think anyone's going to be around for that. So that's why I was thinking like before Christmas for everyone to come together and do some vision boarding. And yeah, that's been a ton of fun as well. And we've had people returning from prior years to even update us on their vision boards. So if you want to know the exact date and time, be sure to join us on thenewfilipino.com and RSVP. We'll have the time there. Any thoughts on that, Nani?
Yeah, I just am thinking about how organically this became a tradition for us and how like even us, for example, we have grown so much in like how we believe in the vision board or how we value the idea of vision boarding, because in the beginning it seemed like this pie in the sky. Oh yeah, it's just this fun arts and crafts activity that we could do together on Zoom, you know, and then we end up all being really like proud of the vision boards that we made and attached to them and sharing them in thenewfilipino.com with each other, hanging them up on our walls, looking at them every day. And like you said, you evolve your understanding about what a vision board is and what expectation, like just, it's not this magical, like witchcraft idea where you put something on a vision board and then it comes true. You know, you wave your wand and it comes true. It's like it's very much like a personal development. Like it's a very psychological process, I think, and very personal in that way. And again, I love that, you know, I would be doing these on my own, and I have already started working on my 2025 goals, but I love that it's something that feels so personal that I also feel comfortable and excited to share with our community because we've been doing it together for so long. So we would really love for you guys to join us if you have not before for one of our annual vision board workshops. We would love for you to join us. Done.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And as a reminder, if you want to know the exact date and time, please join us on thenewfilipino.com. In general, if you want to know any real-time updates, that's what the newfilipino.com space is for. It is our show's app, our online community. It's really become our newsletter as well, because when you join, you get the latest, updates and happenings in our community. So it's just a great way to stay engaged with us, as well as be a part of the conversation, especially in this holiday season when you need a mental break from your family. We will be there.
Yes, right in your back pocket.
Yes. Okay. So final thoughts, Nani, as we wrap up with, this final episode for the new year. Early on this year, I think I don't even remember when we came up with it, but early on this year, we came out with our new slogan, strengthening Filipino voices, one conversation at a time. And I think for myself, I feel like we embodied that in, all the things that we mentioned so far. Like one, podcasting, that's always been like our outlet for, having conversations and sharing people's stories, but also like in our book club, in our upcoming vision board, and also in just the opportunity to invite guests to be on our show and share their story, or even the collaborations we've done. I'd like to believe that we've done a pretty good job embodying this slogan. What do you think?
I would say we've done a phenomenal job, for all those reasons that you shared, for what we have done like publicly, but us privately, we truly do embody that because we're constantly audio messaging each other all day, every day, literally practicing what we preach, right? Mm-hmm. Because, I won't get too much into detail about that, but just having a sounding board, like we were talking about in our last audio messages, like I could be journaling and, just dumping this into a paper, but actually doing this asynchronous messaging, as you call it, and having each other as a sounding board, it is practicing using our voices. It is strengthening our opinions and our, confidence, I guess, in speaking up or speaking out at all. Personally, for me, I'm a very quiet, shy, reserved person. I'm very conflict avoidant. I'm very just and I think through our relationship, first and foremost, personally, it's really empowered me to step out of my shell a little bit. And then that impact grows exponentially when we take it to public platform like TFAW Project or thenewfilipino.com, where we're encouraging others to do that or inviting others into our space to, share this blessing that comes with using your voice.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to credit my therapist for teaching me the word asynchronous. It's, in case anyone's never heard of it, it's like the opposite of synchronous. When you think about doing things in real time, doing things together harmoniously, asynchronous is like one at a time, like emailing back and forth, texting what, like pen pals. It's like audio pen pals is what we've been doing. And it's really cool because I've also had the opportunity to do that with a number of people in our community. And it gives us a chance to maintain a quality relationship without like that sense of guilt, like, oh, I need to schedule real time to do this. Because the reality is we don't always have real time to communicate. I mean, hence, why podcasting is so great, because you all can listen to us like at your convenience. And so now, Nani and I have this practice of messaging each other at our convenience as well. And not out of guilt, not out of like obligation, but out of joy, and I feel like that helps us maintain a quality relationship. And we hope that you all get to, feel that vibe, through the way we are talking in this recording right now.
Yes. Everybody wants to hop on the audio message train now, but let it be known that Jen and I have been doing this. We were the ones that started the trend, okay? And once you start doing it with your own friends, you will understand why we love it so much.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll like do like a course about it to teach y'all how to do it.
Ooh, I love that.
Because it's not easy. You got to like trust people in that, you got to really trust that what you're sending to each other is something that the other person wants to reply back to. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, we got to wrap up, Nani. So just thank you all for having supported us. Thank you all for being here, especially when we had a long hiatus. We're just so happy to be back. And we hope that in this holiday season, you'll be in community with us in thenewfilipina.com.
Yes. Happy holidays, y'all.
All right.
We love
bye
you.
For now. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in thenewfilipina.com, or we'll see you in the new year. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to the TFAW Project with your co-hosts, Jen Amos and Nani Dominguez-Smith. This show was produced by Jen Amos, written by Nani Dominguez-Smith, and edited by Dennis Ragalado. If you enjoy our show and want to join our mission of strengthening Filipino voices, we encourage you to join our family on thenewfilipina.com. All right, we'll see you in thenewfilipina.com, or we'll catch you in the next conversation. Bye for now.